Presented by Honda. We've been fans since day one. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Here at Rogers Center, the Blue Jays have just taken the field for the final game of this three-game series against the visiting Texas Rangers, who have been all sorts of trouble for the Jays over the last couple of days. Taking the first two games of the series, Jeff Bannister's Rangers are now on their first three-game winning streak of the season. And here's a look at how Bannister's going to line them up against Jay Happ this afternoon. Shin-Soo Choo hitting second again. He's in right field today, and he has certainly been productive against the Blue Jays in 5 games against the Jays this season. And how about what Robinson Chirinos did in yesterday's game? A couple of home runs that really hurt the Jays.
Well, they're in tough against the left-hander Jay Happ, who's really off to a great start. Happ making his 6th start of the season. He was the opening day starter. And when you really think about it, last time out he had 10 strikeouts without walking a batter against Boston, a very good hitting ball club. And the high fastball is the key to his success. He has the ability to elevate that fastball. Plus, he's working very quickly, and I think that sends a very positive message from the mound that he feels good about what he's doing out there, and it should put some doubt into the hitter's mind. Defensively, in the outfield, it's Hernandez, Pilar, and Grichuk, and with the news that Devin Travis was optioned to AAA Buffalo, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., at least for the near future, is going to play second base. When Josh Donaldson comes back, there might be a little bit more of a platoon situation with Solarte and Gurriel, but right now he is their second baseman.
Yeah, it speaks to how Gurriel has impressed management in his short time in the big leagues, because he could have been sent back as well, but the Blue Jays have optioned, if he missed it, Devin Travis to AAA Buffalo, give him a chance to work on his game, play every day, they hope, as much as is possible, and see if he can get back what he has certainly had at times in his big league career. Delino DeShields will lead it off for the Rangers this afternoon. The center fielder hitting 194 on the season. Got some good speed, just like his dad had back in his playing days. And there's a fastball over the inside corner for a strike. 1-1 for Jay Happ. A lot of fastballs, a lot of pitches into the righties, and as Buck mentioned, really off to a very good start. Had the 20-win season 2 years ago. There's a changeup grounded, and it's going to be the shortstop Diaz. The throw pulls smoke off the bag and skips into the seats. So DeShields will take second on the air as that ball got by Solarte, and then it was trouble from there.
Yeah, the Blue Jays did not play well in the field yesterday. This will be an infield hit and an error in my mind. Solarte ranging to his left couldn't get to it. It put really Diaz in a tough spot. You can see how widely the throw missed at first base, but it should be an infield hit and an error charge to Diaz, his 3rd of the season, the 13th charge to the Blue Jays. He knew he had to hurry with the Shields running and just didn't make a very good throw.
So runner at second with nobody out to get it started for the Rangers. Choo shows bunt and takes a strike, and certainly got the attention of Solarte down at third. So a couple of sacrifices already in this series from Texas. Choo, a guy with some pop, very experienced hitter. 0 for 6 in his career against Happ. Does not show bunt here, and it's quickly 0-2.
Yeah, that's the best way to diffuse a potential bunting situation. Throw strike 1. And then he follows it up with strike 2. And you can see Jay's made 5 starts against the Rangers. He's 3-2. He has not faced the Rangers since May 5th of 2016.
The 0-2. Yeah, that's fouled back.
Back in 2012, Jay Happ actually struck out 6 Rangers in a row. He really did a terrific job. And talk about the hitters. It was Beltre, Michael Young, David Murphy, Giovanni Soto, and Craig Gentry, and then Mike Olt. So he went right through the middle of their order and struck out 6 straight Ranger batters.
On the appeal, he went around, and there's strikeout number 1 of the afternoon for Happ.
Yeah, I was surprised the home plate umpire didn't call that. It looked like he clearly offered it to pitch. He was called out for the swing, and watch how far that bat travels. Yeah, that's definitely a swing, and Mike Winters down at third rings him up.
Look at these numbers. Almost 13 strikeouts per 9 innings so far this season for Happ. That leads the American League. It's third in the majors behind only Robbie Ray and Max Scherzer. In 29 innings, Happ has struck out 41 batters. That pitch right there is a big reason why. The fastball into the righties. And not only because he struck out 41 in 29 innings, he's only walked 7 batters in those 29 innings.
Yeah, he is pitching very aggressively and confident that the more strikes he throws, the better off he will be.
And he knows the drill. The bullpen's been overworked. They made a move not only to give Travis an opportunity to rediscover his game at AAA, also because they needed an arm in the bullpen. A lot of the relievers have been overworked, so Carlos Ramirez is up with the Jays now. They've got 8 relievers, and Happ knows his job is to pitch deep into this game.
You see that high target from Russell Martin, and we've talked about it often. Jay Happ, though he throws 93, 94 miles an hour, has a little extra skip on that ball, top of the zone. It's very enticing for a hitter because it's right up near your eyes. You see it very well, but it's just too high to get on top of.
An infield hit and an error to get it started, then a strikeout of Chu. And now the 0-2 is taken low by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the second baseman today for the Rangers, a rookie hitting .273. We talked about it over the last couple of games of this season, but with Rougned Odor, Elvis Andrus, Adrian Beltre all on the DL right now. A lot of young players are getting a chance to show their stuff on the infield for Texas. Jeff Bannister said it's an interesting situation because none of them are under the illusion that they're going to replace Odor or Andrus or Beltre, so there's no pressure on them. They're just up there doing as well as they can and trying to open up some eyes for the future. 1-2. And the changeup misses down and away.
Plus, you're not only playing for the Rangers, you're playing for the other 29 teams. And if you do well in the major leagues, playing for Texas while these other players are injured, who knows who might come knocking on their door saying, hey, we could use that guy.
A look back by Happ, and the 2-2, and a high fastball fouled off to the right side. Jay Happ not overpowering in terms of the velocity with the fastball, but he'll pitch up with it with confidence. He's a good spin rate guy, meaning that the fastball retains its velocity better than many others. And he's not afraid to pitch up or pitch in at 92 miles an hour. Just outside a full count.
Yeah, we have seen pitchers over the years have the ability to throw high fastballs when they don't throw hard, as you see Mazzara on deck. Pat Henkin won a Cy Young Award pitching for the Blue Jays in a very similar fashion.
(3-2). And another foul out. Pretty good at bat here by Kiner-Falefa.
Yeah, you talk about using your fastball. We saw the king of the fastball yesterday, Bartolo Colon. 82% of his pitches are fastballs, and then there's Jay Happ right behind him. Ian Kennedy is starting as well today. He too uses the fastball, but only 64% compared to Happ and Colon.
Fastball sent it to shallow right field, and Grichuk, did he catch that ball? It's being called a catch, and if that holds up, it's going to be an inning-ending double play. And obviously Texas may want to have a look at this one, and I got to tell you, we want to have a look at it too.
What an effort by Randall Grichuk. I mean, this guy is struggling at the plate. Everybody knows that, but he has never carried his hitting woes out to the field with him. He starts to stumble there, losing his feet, but look at the concentration. And does he get the ball in his glove? It never hit the dirt. It hit his chest. He cradled it. That's as good a catch as you will ever see.
Unbelievable grab by Randall Grichuk to end the top of the first. maybe the judges giving him style points might not have given him a 10 out of 10 here, but give him an A+ for the effort.
Boy, it was a terrific, determined catch, and you know what? And as I said before, he has not carried his hitting problems with him out to the field for sure.
Let's check out the Blue Jay lineup here this afternoon. Justin Smoak has some very good numbers against the left-hander Martin Perez to the tune of 7 for 16, and Kevin Pilar, who hit a couple of home runs yesterday, is having himself a really nice homestand.
Martin Perez has gotten off to a rough start. His ERA is 9.82 after 5 starts. And he is going to try to complete the sweep of this series. And the Rangers have not swept a series in Toronto since 2002.
Steve Pearce will lead it off for the Blue Jays. He's DHing this afternoon as he takes it a little bit inside for ball 1. Pearce hitting .283 on the season, hitting .316 against lefties this year. With an OPS of .945 against lefties. He's done a nice job. He'll be followed by Teoscar Hernandez and then Justin Smoak. Facing the 27-year-old from Venezuela, Martin Perez. As Pearce pops one up for the shortstop, Profar, backpedaling into left field, and he's there to make the catch. 1 down.
Well, the Rangers, we mentioned they have 3 of the regular infielders out of the lineup. Jurickson Profar is getting the majority of the work at shortstop, and he is a terrific athlete. He missed a couple of years because of shoulder surgery, but he can do everything. He's got range, he's got an arm, he's got good glove. He's the type of guy that can play shortstop every day. But of course, Elvis Andrus is a regular shortstop. When he's back, they're going to have to move Profar around.
1 down for Teoscar Hernandez, who lays off that breaking ball on the appeal, no swing. And it's 1-0 on Hernandez, hitting .296 on the season. He's in left today. Pilar's in center, of course. Grichuk, as we've already seen, is in right. Here's DHing. Granderson not in there today with a lefty on the mound for the Rangers. Perez last year went 13-12 with a .482 ERA. He has been a starter for Texas for the last 4 or 5 years. Has had some injuries. Not the last 2 years, been a regular starter each of the last 2 years. And obviously disappointing numbers from a Rangers perspective so far this year for Perez, with a .982 ERA in his first 4 starts. But he is coming off his best one of the season 7 days ago, 6 innings, 2 runs against Seattle. 13 wins last year, a career high, 185 innings. This year, giving up a lot of hits. The opposition is hitting better than 400. Again, just 4 starts, but he's given up a tremendous number of hits. 36 hits in 18 1/3 innings.
Well, the problem is that he's getting squared up a lot, and you look at the highest ERA. Perez at 9.82. Kendall Graveman's just been sent to the minor leagues. Marcus Stroman at 8.88, and those pitchers are off to a tough start.
One down and the base is empty for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the first. And the 3-2 to Hernandez is inside for ball 4. Another example of what you talked about often this week, about how much more selective he seems to have become.
Yes, that's his 7th walk this season, and he just has a better idea of the strike zone, and he'll take his walks. And it's really important when you're batting in the 2 spot in the lineup. You can't be up there just freewheeling. You mentioned Perez and all the hits he's given up. The Texas Rangers lead the American League in hits allowed. They've given up 266 hits coming into this game today.
Here's Justin Smoak. Switch hitter batting for the right side against the left-hander Perez. Middle infielders at double play depth. And Smoak takes just low, ball 1. After this game today, the Blue Jays hit the road. They go to Minneapolis for 3. They'll take on the Twins tomorrow through Wednesday, weather permitting. The makeup doubleheader in Cleveland Thursday, and then down in Florida to take on the surging Tampa Bay Rays next weekend. 1-0 and a swing and a ground ball down to third, to second one, back to first. That's a double play, and that's all for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the first. No runs, no hits, a walk, nobody left, no score at the end of 1.
manager John Gibbons telling us that with a bullpen that's running on fumes, he hopes that Ramirez can provide a little relief. Now, Ramirez will be called upon today if needed, although Gibbons says he's pretty confident Jay Happ on the mound. He feels good about being able to rest some of his guys. Ramirez is not a candidate for the long relief multiple innings role. Gibbons saying he doesn't view him that way, although in an emergency situation, quote, we'll see what he's got. Now, if you remember, Ramirez dealt with an elbow issue at camp earlier this year. He had mixed results in coming back from that injury. He told me that the start of the season with the Bisons was his spring training, Dan, and he feels he's 100% relief, but as far as his pitches and his stuff goes, it's still a work in progress.
All right, Hazel, thank you. The Blue Jays saw Ramirez near the end of last season. He was terrific in the minors last year and came up and pitched pretty well. Started off with 10 scoreless innings to begin his big league career last year. But again, the Devin Travis move is twofold. It has to do with Travis, but it also has to do with the fact, Buck, that the Blue Jays, they just need another arm in the bullpen.
Yeah, they sure do. And they have a fresh arm. And Ramirez, as you mentioned, just 6 hits allowed in his big league career last year. 12 games, 16 2/3. He gave up just 6 hits. He's a strike thrower.
So the Blue Jays going with an 8-man bullpen and just a 3-man bench right now. Omar Mazara leads off the second for the Rangers, and Jay Happ falls behind 3-0. Happ gave up an infield hit in the first, and then a tremendous tumbling catch by Randall Grichuk led to a double play that ended the inning. Mazara, Joey Gallo, and Renato Nunez for Texas here in the second.
Mazara does a good job hitting against lefty pitching. He's hitting .357. We have seen in this series how he can hit the ball the opposite field. Stays on that pitch up but not over the plate and fouls it out. But he is an everyday player. He came up big last year and drove in 100 runs.
Happ has worked it back to a full count. The biggest power threat the Rangers have is on deck. 3-2 slider fouled off by Mazara. Jeff Bannister, of course, has had some success with Texas. Blue Jays saw him in the playoffs a couple of times. They did not make the postseason last year. There is a beautiful fastball outside corner just above the knees for strike 3 call.
I don't care who you are or how hard you throw or how soft you throw. When you can locate your fastball, you're going to have success in the big leagues. And after falling behind 3-0, Jay Happ threw a cutter slider on the previous pitch and then paints the black on the outside corner. Hits Martin's glove perfectly to strike out Mazara.
Second strikeout of the afternoon for the lefty. Now here's Joey Gallo with a shift on. And Solarte, as you can see, comes around to the right side of the infield. So in the interim, and we talked about what could happen in the next few days with the Blue Jays playing down a position player with an extra reliever. They don't really have an extra infielder. Russell Martin would probably be that so-called emergency infielder. And if anything were to happen to anybody at second, short, and third, you could move Martin to third base and you could figure it out. Solarte could go to second, Gurriel could go to short. You can work it out. Maile can go in and catch if Russell were catching. And then the next potential logical move is if Donaldson's okay and he comes back 4, 5, 6 days from now, whenever that may be. And it kind of makes sense maybe when the Blue Jays are he's down in Dunedin right now. Maybe it happens when the Blue Jays are taking on Tampa Bay next Friday.
Yeah, that sounds like the timing will be perfect. Donaldson will have enough time to play a few games and the Blue Jays will play the Rays. But Jay Happ missed with that fastball, but you talk about Pierce too. He can come in on the infield and play. He's played from first obviously, but he's played second and third as well. So he's a guy that in an emergency could fill in on the infield.
I don't think they would do this if they were looking at 2-3 weeks of this situation.
It's a short-term fix. Get you through a game, get you through a couple of games.
Donaldson DH for Dunedin last night down in Florida, went 0 for 3. And a fastball right there, right down the middle for strike 3 call.
Well, Jay Happ with 3 strikeouts so far, and he just freezes Joey Gallo. just can't pick up the spin, can't pick up the ball, and he forgot his trigger in that bat rack. The slow-mo, super slow-mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus, the camera reimagined, available now.
Renato Nunez, first pitch swinging, hits one 1.5 tons to left field for a long home run. And the Rangers have a 1-0 lead.
Well, Nunez hasn't faced Happ before, but we talked about his power. He's a guy that hit a lot of home runs in the minor leagues, and he was up there looking for that first pitch fastball, got it, and didn't miss. Nunez hit 32 home runs last year in AAA. And he's got a big power bat, and he gives the Rangers a good lead.
First of the season, second of his major league career. He hit one with Oakland last year. Deep into the second deck, out in left field. Now Profar.
Yeah, this guy knows how to hit the ball out of the ballpark. We mentioned 32 home runs, and he's got a home run swing. A little bit of an uppercut, jumped on that first pitch fastball.
So Texas Buck has scored first in all 3 games, and they've scored in either the first or second inning in all 3 games.
And we have mentioned that they're without their regulars, but the youngsters getting an opportunity to show their manager what they're capable of doing. And as we mentioned, they have not swept the Blue Jays in a series here at Rogers Center since 2002.
Two down and a 2-1 count on Jurickson Profar, the shortstop again today for the Rangers. And he lines the ball into left center field for a base hit. Hernandez over to cut it off, and that'll be a long 2-out single for Jurickson Profar.
Profar homered yesterday. He was shut out in the opener, 0 for 4 with a strikeout.
Nunez homering here today, and the guy at the plate right now hit 2 of them yesterday. The catcher Robinson Chirinos homered in the second off Jaime Garcia and homered in the 6th off San Juan O.
It was his 5th multi-home run game of his career. First of the season for the Rangers, and those 5 multi-home run games, he's in second place for Rangers catchers. The other catcher, Pudge Rodriguez, 17 times he had multiple home runs in a game.
Down and in, a ball and a strike on Chirinos.
Chirinos is also tied with the Yankees' Gary Sanchez for the most home runs by a catcher in the American League. They are 1 behind the Cardinals' Yadi Molina.
Speaking of the Yankees, somebody's got to figure out a way to cool those guys off pretty soon. They won again. They blew out the Angels last night. Aaron Judge had another big night. They play the Angels again tonight. The Yankees are hot right now.
Yeah, and the Angels were hot when they went in there. You see DeMarlo Hale looking at Tony Beasley, see if he can pick up a sign whether or not they're going to start the runner at first, and then passing it along to Russell Martin.
Two teams in the American League East have won 8 in a row. The Yankees have won 8 in a row. They'll take on the Angels tonight, as we mentioned. Tampa Bay has won 8 in a row. They beat the Red Sox each of the last 2 days, and they're scoreless in the bottom of the second at Fenway right now. Profar the lead, not going, and the pitch fouled back and out of play by Chirinos.
Now Tampa Bay, after really struggling with the bats, starting to hit a few home runs and make up the difference. But they have really got a number on the Red Sox. 18 hits, 12 runs, and hit 4 home runs yesterday.
Red Sox have now lost 5 out of 7. Again, the 2-2. And a swing and a miss at a fastball, a little up and in. 4th strikeout of the game for Jay Happ. But Texas has the lead. Renato Nunez got all of this one deep into the second deck. 1-0 Rangers.
Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Blue Jays home screen icons and features such as the MLB TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today. Dan, back to you.
Thank you, Hazel. Bottom of the second, 1-0. Texas leads the Blue Jays, and the Jays will send up Hernandez Solarte to lead it off against Martin Perez. Solarte hitting .218, 6 homers. The switch hitting infielder, again the everyday third baseman since Donaldson has been out. It's natural, Buck. You hear it on the post-game show on Sportsnet Radio Network. People calling in every day. It's what everybody's talking about. When Donaldson comes back, then what happens? Now, part of it depends on if he can play third or just swing the bat. The Blue Jays are hoping he comes back able to play both ways. But then Solarte, maybe some second base, and do you anticipate seeing some Gurriel, a fair bit of Gurriel at shortstop once that happens?
Yeah, I think they're going to move Gurriel around and see if Short's his spot.
Solarte has tied the game. His 7th of the season, and it's 1-1. Had I known that was happening, I wouldn't ask you that question. Put you in a bad spot.
Solarte, number 7 for Solarte. He snaps an 0-for-6 streak. He was just 2 for 19 on his homestand before that home run. He had been in a tough spot, a little bit of a slump, down to 218 before the home run, but he has tied it up with one swing of the bat.
And here's Pilar, who homered twice yesterday. One more look at the Solarte home run.
Boy, he gets his fastball. He took the first 2 pitches and look into the Ranger dugout. He's got some pals over there in that dugout. They've been giving each other jabs back and forth across the diamond for 3 games.
(2-0) on Pilar, hitting .309 with 3 homers on the season. Again, 2 of them coming yesterday. He thought it was low, and looks like he was right, but it's called a strike, and it's 2-1.
There were 6 home runs hit in the game yesterday, 2 so far today. And the opponents have actually out-homered the Blue Jays here at Rogers Center this year.
Pilar doing a much better job this year using the whole field. More hits up the middle. 2 of his 3 home runs have been to center field, the other one to right. And that was his focus back in the spring. I asked him before a game, what's your game plan this year? And he said, hit it hard up the middle. Good things will happen if you just try to hit it hard up the middle.
Well, and two, you eliminate the opponent's shifting on you. You spread the field out as wide as possible defensively, so there are a lot of holes out there for base hits.
And he'll draw a walk. So the Blue Jays have tied it on the Solarte home run. Now Pilar's aboard and a man on with nobody out for Russell Martin.
Well, the Blue Jays have used a hit and run with Martin just to get him going. They had Pierce at first base the other day. This is a much better matchup with Pilar, the base runner, at first, so they might play hit and run right here. See if they can get Russell going a little bit.
Yeah, Russell told us a couple of days ago he loves when he gets the hit and run sign. Off Perez, bounces toward third, and safe at first is Martin. Jeff Bannister's up on the top step with his hand held up as if to say to the umps, I got my 30 seconds here to decide if we want to have a look at it. And also they want to check on Perez to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, the trainer's going to come out and check with the pitcher. And now the umpire's asking Bannister if he wants to appeal. It looked like Perez intentionally kicked at that ball, and he deflected it right to Nunez at third. Russell Martin sensed it was going to be close at first, hustling down the line, smelling a base hit, and for the moment he beats it out. Watch Perez kind of kicked at it Actually hit his left foot and deflected toward the third baseman. Had he let it go, it looked like it was going to be a routine play for the middle infielders.
So he says he's okay. And the end result's going to be an infield hit for Martin. And the Blue Jays got something going here. Run in already at first and second with nobody out. And here's Lourdes Gurriel Jr. So the Blue Jays sending Travis down, keeping Gurriel. He's at second base and figures to be for the next several days, you would imagine. Hit his first big league home run yesterday. They're creeping in on the corners as he takes inside of the knees for ball one.
Yeah, Gurriel, he's really got instincts for baseball. Watch how he looks around, see where the infielders are. He'll check out the defense, see where they're set up, see if there's a chance to drop down a bunt. Got good instincts.
Takes a change up over the outside corner, 1-1. Is he a little bit more patient than maybe you thought he was going to be? He's not a complete free swinger.
No, he's not. He's very patient. He's got a game plan. He has an idea what he wants to hit, what the pitch is going to give him. We haven't seen him overmatched at the plate, despite the fact he's not hitting for a high average.
Checks
Even
that
pitch right there is a good example of his plate discipline.
You and I, independently of one another, both asked him in the last 24 hours how tall he is, because he's listed at 6'2", and we both thought he was taller than that. He says he's 6'3". He's at least 6'3".
Yeah, he is a big young man. He's 6'3", maybe closer to 6'4", but he's got a perfect baseball body.
Takes again. 3 balls and a strike.
I think he's the type of hitter that will eventually develop into a power hitter. As he learns the league, he's going to have a lot of leverage. He's got a very quick bat. That bat flies through the hitting zone.
Off the end of the bat, a ground ball to second. The Rangers will get one back to first. And in and out of the glove. Probably would have been safe anyways as Gurriel reaches on the fielder's choice. Pilar to third with one down.
Yeah, he can run too, Gurriel. He hustled down the line, and I don't think they were going to double him up. Even had the first baseman held on to the baseball, Joey Gallo is in the stretch. There's a play at second, and Profar might have been off the base when he caught that ball, but Gurriel beats the throw. Good hustle out of the box. We have seen this consistently from Gurriel since he's come up.
So first and third with one out, and the first at bat of the afternoon for Randal Grichuk, who's already made the defensive play of the game. That catch out and right to end the top of the first inning. Started a double play, and obviously Grichuk looking to get going, needs to get going with the bat. Playing sparingly these days since Teoscar Hernandez has come up and done well. And Grichuk, as has been much discussed in recent days, the difference between him and someone like Hernandez or Gurriel or even Travis is Grichuk does not have options left, which means if the Blue Jays try to get him through to the minors, they could lose him on waivers. Now that would mean the claiming team would have to take the contract as well. High fly ball left center field, not that deep. Rua is in to make the catch, and here comes Pilar. Here comes the throw, and it's not in time. Head first slide to give the Blue Jays the lead on the sac fly, and taking second on the play is Gurriel.
Well, Louis Rivera at third base. That fly ball wasn't that deep in left field, but I think it's a twofold move. Yeah, you want to get the run in, but you also want to give Randal Grichuk an RBI. He needs to have something positive with the bat. And this is not a deep fly ball, but Pilar's a good runner. Look where Rua is when he catches it. Very shallow left field, but Pilar busted for home. Throw is a little bit late, and Grichuk gets the sac fly. So I like the fact that they're being aggressive there, challenging the arm of Rua in left field, and they get Grichuk an RBI.
And Gurriel into scoring position on the play. He's at second with 2 down now for Aledmus Diaz. The Rangers get a 1 in the top half. The Blue Jays answer back with 2. Right now the Blue Jays seem to be seeing that changeup pretty well from Perez. He's missing just off the outside corner with it, and they're not chasing it too much.
Well, it doesn't hurt that they saw Mike Minor pitch on Friday, the same style of pitcher. Lots of changeups from a lefty.
That time he went after it. It was a strike. Swings through it. 1-1. And Solarte and Odor still engaging in a conversation. And Colon saying, "Man, I'm too mature for this."
Kids.
Yeah. Hit hard but foul down the right side. So a solo home run by Solarte, then a sac fly for Grichuk. And the Blue Jays trying to salvage the final game of the series, have an early 2-1 lead. Strike 3 called, and that's all. But it's a productive bottom of the second for the Blue Jays. And it started off with Hernandez, Solarte's 7th home run of the season. He didn't hit number 7 last year till the middle of June.
Run was to his father, who promptly put him on speakerphone so the rest of the family could weigh in on the celebration. His brother Yuli actually watched it live from inside the Astros clubhouse and sent Lourdes a message via voicemail to congratulate him. Through Jose Pele, the interpreter, Lourdes told me that the home run was extra special because he hit it in front of the home fans and off a legend like Bartolo Colon, as opposed to, say, a reliever just coming out from the bullpen. Oddly enough, the joy and excitement of hitting that home run felt the same as when he got his first hit in the big leagues at Yankee Stadium. It told him that he belonged in the majors. And Dan, he chuckled when he pointed out that after his father congratulated him, the conversation quickly turned into what he could have done better in his previous at-bats in that game.
Of course it did. Part of parenting, right? Here's what you did well, now here's what you can do better.
Nice home run, however.
Yeah. Here's Ryan Rua, the left fielder, number 9 hitter for the Texas Rangers. Jays up 2-1, top 3. And that's a solid base hit into left field to get it started here in the 3rd for Texas. The pitch tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. With Buck Martinez and Hazel May, I'm Dan Schulman. Top of the 3rd here in the last game of this series and last game of the season series between the Blue Jays and Rangers. They're done on April the 29th. The Blue Jays and Rangers already having played 3 games down in Arlington earlier this month. Top of the order, Delino DeShields, who reached on an infield hit his first time up. Shields sporting some pretty fancy Texas Ranger Lone Star socks that he's got working right now.
Very fancy.
Yeah.
And Star of Texas and a T on the back. This is a situation where they might start to run her at first. Rua had a stolen base in the game yesterday. He's got some speed, and with the Shields, the leadoff man, he can handle. Man, there's a big hole to shoot for on the right side of the infield.
And another called strike. It's 1-2. And strike 3 call. Number 5 for Happ. Let's go to Jamie. Tell you, every year we tell ourselves don't make any rash judgments on the first 2-3 weeks of the season. It is a marathon, not a sprint, and who knows what is destined for the Rays this year. But what a run Kevin Cash's team is on right now.
Yeah, they got off to a terrible start, and they're looking at 9 straight wins if they sweep the Red Sox this afternoon. They won 9 of their last 10.
Blue Jays will be there next weekend, Friday through Sunday, to take on the Rays. Shin-Soo Choo struck out his first time up. What do you think it is about Happ's fastball that generates not only so many swings and misses, but so many strikes being taken on that pitch as well?
He hides the ball very well. I was just thinking that myself. He has struck out 3 Rangers looking today. They've been caught looking at his fastball. But he's got a short arm swing as well, much like we talked about with Colon yesterday. And you can see how late Choo was on that high fastball. But it's kind of a sneaky fastball, and he has the ability to locate it so well. But it oftentimes looks like the hitters just never see it. And you know he's going to throw fastballs. He throws more fastballs than anybody in the league except Colon.
Proving again the best pitch in baseball. You can ask Happ or Colon is a well-located fastball. Everything else has to play off that. Runner at first, 1 out. And a little bit high, just upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Martin is looking into the dugout, or just kind of coyly having a conversation with the home plate umpire Tim Timmons about that last pitch. Runner is going. Ball 3, throw down, and a stolen base for Rua.
Yeah. 2 steals in this series for Rua. He gets a walking lead again, just kind of moving, shuffling his feet, never stopped, and the throw is low in the dirt. Diaz comes off to make sure it doesn't go into center field.
So the count now full on Choo with a runner at second and 1 down. And a ground ball out to second for Gurriel on the first and plenty of time, 2 down, as the runner takes third on the play. Jays will take that trade. Runner at third, but 2 outs in the inning. And now if Happ can get Kiner-Falefa, he'll get out of this unscathed.
Going to be interesting to see what he throws him on the first pitch. He hit a first pitch home run on a fastball his previous time up. I think Happ will throw him a fastball. He just makes sure that's in a better spot.
And the first pitch in for a strike. 2-1 Blue Jays, top of the third, runner at third, 2 down. And a little upstairs with that fastball. Kiner-Falefa went 1 for 5 yesterday in the second game of the series, and went 1 for 3 in the first game, getting a chance to play again because of the injuries. Rangers hoping to have Odor and Beltre back relatively quickly. There's a soft liner to short, Diaz is there, and that'll retire the side with a runner being stranded at third. We go bottom 3, 2-1 Blue Jays.
Armed Forces, and today they honor Captain Robert Sloan. He served for nearly 30 years, has deployed to Bosnia, and is currently the chief fire instructor at the Canadian Forces Base Border. Captain Robert Sloan, today's Sunday Salute.
Hazel, thank you. Our thanks to Captain Sloan for his service, and also good to see Aaron Sanchez out there representing the Blue Jays, handing him his ceremonial jersey. Bottom 3 here at Rogers Center, with the Blue Jays with a 2-1 lead. Top of the order, Pierce, Hernandez, and Smoke against Martin Perez. Pierce popped up his first time up. Sharply hit ball to his left on a hop. Profar spins and fires. What a good throw to get Pierce for the first down.
Yeah, we had highlighted Profar at shortstop to start this game because of his skills as a defender. He's got good hands and he knows who's running. He's got a little extra time. Watch him do a 360, plant his right foot in the outfield and reach back for a little extra on that throw to throw out Pierce. He's a very capable replacement for the injured Elvis Andrus, the starting shortstop for the Rangers.
Teoscar Hernandez walked his first time up. And that's a called strike, says Tim Timmons, the home plate umpire. High fly ball to right field. Got some carry. Gone! Another example of Teoscar Hernandez's opposite field power.
Hernandez hit a triple to right field yesterday, and he's got the ability to really drive the ball the other way. This is a very good hitter's ballpark. The ball carries to all directions, and you don't have to pull it to hit it out. Now, we saw that yesterday with Chirinos, the catcher. He went right down the right field line, and here Teoscar picks up his 4th of the season. He's got such great plate discipline, and he is locked in out over the plate. Doesn't try to pull it, doesn't try to hit it 400 feet, just knocks it out of the yard to the opposite field. He's made so many good adjustments at the plate. He has basically opened his stance just to a point where it's neutral now. It used to be closed, and he couldn't really pick up the baseball.
Smoke with a roller to short. Another play for Profar, 2 down. Blue Jay fans have been chomping at the bit the last couple of years to see what's coming in the system. You know, the guy on the left and the guy on the right. The guy on the right obviously was somebody they signed, Gurriel. The guy on the left, Hernandez, they picked up in the trade with Houston for Francisco Liriano. And Both young players with some athleticism, some talent, a lot of energy, a lot of smiling from both of those guys.
Yeah, and they're off to great starts to their season.
And Hernandez Solarte homered his first time up, hooks that ball foul down the line.
Be good to get him going a little bit now too. He's been playing every day, and he had been scuffling at the plate. Just 2 for 19 before he hit that home run.
And Odor's chirping him a little bit more. They've been in a friendly conversation all day. Sharply hit, but positioned up the middle is kinder for left for the second baseman, and that'll do it. But another run for the Blue Jays. Teoscar Hernandez with his 4th home run of the season, letting it fly to right field. End of 3. Blue Jays 3 and the Rangers 1.
So far this afternoon. And speaking of a swing and a belt, Dan Shulman's new podcast takes you behind the scenes with personal stories from the ball game. Check out new episodes of A Swing and a Belt with Shulman every Thursday through the baseball season, available wherever you get your podcast. Dan, favorite interview so far, sir?
Ooh, well, now you're asking me to offend everybody else, Hazel. You put me on the spot. Well, I will tell you somebody who I sat down with today. So it's going to air, I believe, next week. But had a great chat with Marco Estrada today. Learned a lot about Marco that I didn't know. Going back to his high school days when he was a 150-pound leadoff hitting third baseman. As Mazzara chops one out to second, he said he could make some contact, steal some bases. And he only became a pitcher in his senior year because a couple of pitchers got hurt and they said, hey, the kid at third has a pretty good arm. Why don't we try him on the mound? And then all these years later, here he is in the midst of a terrific major league career.
Yeah, he would go from high school to junior college and end up at Long Beach State. Got drafted by the Nationals.
We talked a little bit too about and you were here, Buck, that ovation that he got when he came off the field. We've talked about this after Game 5 of the ALCS against Kansas City in 2015. One of the best, biggest games that's ever been pitched by a Blue Jay. What he did. Now, it only staved off elimination one more game, but we obviously didn't know that at the time. But boy, that performance that he put up that day was quite something.
Yeah, and the game before was a blowout. The Royals had pounded the ball all over the ballpark, and he came back and shut them down dramatically, only giving up a late home run to Sal Perez.
At the knees, a strike to Joey Gallo. It's 2-1. J. Happ staked to a 3-1 lead. A couple of home runs behind him today. One by Hernandez Solarte, one by Teoscar Hernandez. Renato Nunez has homered for the Rangers for their only run. And now Happ sends one a mile high on the left side of the infield. That's Diaz, the shortstop, who was the only guy over there with a shift on, and he'll make the catch for the second out. Now here's Nunez, and here's what he did his last time up, Buck.
Yeah, first pitch swinging, and he jumped all over this fastball. Hit it 411 feet. It got off the bat at 109 miles an hour. We mentioned a year ago he had 32 home runs in AAA while he was with Oakland, so he's gotten a home run swing.
So would you start him off speed, something with a wrinkle here?
No, I think he'll throw him a fastball. He threw him a changeup and got away from him. But, you know, Jay throws so many fastballs, I think he was just wanting to show him a little bit different look. But he's going to challenge him with a fastball, just trying to make it a little better pitch than the one he gave up the home run on.
Chased a high fastball, 1-1. Jammed him, so two pretty well located fastballs there by Happ, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, and that's the way Jay pitches. He uses his fastball very well. He just knows he has to locate. He'll probably try to go upstairs again, as he did earlier in this at bat, and got Nunez to swing right through it.
It's a pretty good pitch, and that's a pretty typical two-strike pitch from Jay Happ as well.
Right-handed hitter. He's going to run it upstairs, and he's going to run it on the corner. Russell Martin liked it. Let's see if they go there again. Nope, they're going to go with sinker. Inside, turned it over, but missed.
And the count now full. Jurickson Profar on deck should the inning continue.
He beat him with that fastball at 95, his best fastball this afternoon.
They are making him work a little bit. He's at 67 pitches through 3 2/3. You'd like to see, if possible, your pitchers down around 15 pitches per inning. 17, 18. You can't get as deep into the game. That'll help. Strikeout number 6, and 4 of the 6 have been on a called third strike. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Blue Jays coming up, leading 3-1 here at Rogers Center. Start this season and doing even better at home. These are some serious numbers.
Yeah, they sure are. Hitting nearly 360 here at Rogers Center, slugging almost 700. His OPS is over 1, and I think we've talked about this with Pilar. He's using the whole field, and that really plays well in this ballpark because it's a very hitter-friendly ballpark. The ball travels to all parts of the park, and Kevin has been able to utilize that.
He's proven to be a very durable guy, too. Doesn't want a day off. Likes to be out there all the time. If Pilar were to get a day off, Randall Grichuk would probably be the next choice to play center field. He's played some center in the big leagues. In foul territory, tough play, and nobody's going to touch it. It drops right between 3 defenders.
Joey Gallo, the first baseman, was the closest to it, but he kind of misjudged where it was. It was off to his left, and it just drops in foul ground. Right here, it's drifting a little bit back to his left, and he's not going to get near it. He heard footsteps right at the end and pulled up, but Chu wasn't going to get there.
So another opportunity now for Pilar with Martin and Gurriel coming up behind him. Inside. Pilar walked and scored back in the second. Came in on a sac fly by Randall Grichuk. Fairly close play at the plate. Had for a slide by Pilar to get in there safely. Fly ball to left field. Ruiz going back. Ruiz at the wall. Gone! Third home run in 2 days for Kevin Pilar.
Boy, he did a nice job of waiting on that breaking ball, and he got an extra opportunity because that foul ball fell untouched down the right field line. It looked like a playable pop-up, but he gets an extra chance and took full advantage of it. And the third home run of the day for the Blue Jays. They hit 3 yesterday. And again, they're starting to swing the bats a little bit more consistently. That's a good sign.
Here's Russell Martin, had an infield hit his first time up. One more look at the Pilar swing.
Well, it's a great at bat. He gets a breaking ball, and look how he stays back. With 2 strikes, he's able to put the barrel on it and knock it into the bullpen in left field.
Not a terrible pitch from Perez. Ball was down.
Kevin's going to want to stay here and play. Last year he hit 240 at home.
Third home run of the game for the Blue Jays. All solo shots. They're up 4-1. Well, for this team to get going offensively, you know, power is going to be a pretty big part of it. You'd also like to see them, and we have seen them at times this year, not that much recently, score runs in other ways as well, with, I don't want to say manufacturing runs, but stringing some hits together, the odd hit and run, using the little bit extra bit of speed and athleticism that they appear to have right now, with the likes of Hernandez and Gurriel being added to the roster.
They've already hit more triples this season they had all year last year. They set a major league record with a total of 5 triples, the lowest number ever for a team in a season.
They got 6 in the first month of the season this year.
Another look at this pitch from Perez. Pilar with 2 strikes kind of shortens up and just puts the barrel on it, knocks it out of the ballpark. And he's had quite a couple of days here. He scored twice today as well after he walked. In the second, he scored on that shallow sac fly by Grichuk.
Visit to the mound by the catcher Chirinos after that walk to Martin. Jeff Bannister a little bit concerned. He has seen Perez get hit hard so far this season. Lourdes Gurriel bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up. Martin being held on at first, and Kiner-Falefa shading up the middle. And there's something we talked about last at bat that Gurriel has not done a ton of, and that's chase a ball outside the zone.
Yeah, he chased a changeup there, just 82 miles an hour, and he had a wild swing. You're right, we haven't seen many of those from Gurriel. Let's see if he makes an adjustment now. They threw him a changeup down. They threw him a fastball away. And we have seen him take shots to the right side, trying to get base hits to the right side of the field. If they're going to stay out there, let's see if he makes the adjustment. Another pitch away.
Looking down to Luis Rivera, the third base coach. Russell Martin aboard after the walk. Pilar's homered. 3-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the fourth, trying to salvage the final game of this series and head out on the road on a winning note. If there's any chance of a hit and run here?
Yes, I do. I think especially because of the way that Perez is attacking Gurriel, everything is away.
Not going, and he chased another changeup out of the zone, and you can see his frustration. It's the second time he's done it in this at bat. It's 2-2.
Another changeup, and it's down out of the zone. It takes a wild swing, just 81 miles an hour. Another changeup. He threw it in a bad spot. He didn't want to throw it up there. That's why Gurriel was able to get a piece of it. You see him fighting himself now, trying to convince himself to stay back. Don't be anxious, especially with 2 strikes.
Justin Smoke, Steve Pearce looking on from the dugout for the Blue Jays. Hits are even at 4 apiece. The Blue Jays have a 4-1 lead, looking to add on here in the bottom of the fourth. Short lead by Martin. 2-2 breaking ball, lined hard but foul down the left field line. Another example of what we talked about. Even if it doesn't end in a hit, he'll extend an at bat, he'll foul off a pitch. And again, in the U.S. and now in Canada, not a tremendously experienced player. Just started playing minor league ball last year. Played, of course, for a few years in Cuba before. Lays off that ball in the dirt. Martin's on his way to second, and he is in there in a head-first slide. He'll advance on the wild pitch.
The ball in the dirt, that's a changeup, and he bounces it in. Chirinos can't really square it up. It goes to his right. By the time he recovers, Russell's got a good jump and gets in with the head first slide. The ball just carried him too far to the right. Good. Chirinos has a strong arm, but he didn't have much of a chance to throw out Martin.
And now a 3-2 count on Gurriel. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth. Ball 4.
Pretty good adjustment.
The 2018 Civic. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Nice crowd on a Sunday afternoon here at Rogers Center when they're enjoying a 4-1 lead for the Blue Jays right now. With 2 on and nobody out in the bottom of the fourth inning. Randall Grichuk is the batter. Had a sacrifice fly his first time up. And creeping in on the corners for the Rangers. And he'll look at a first pitch strike. Grichuk, 26 years of age and parts of 4 seasons in the majors with St. Louis. Best year was 2015. Hit .276, 17 homers and 350 at bats. And activity now in the Rangers pen. Right-hander Tony Barnett is getting up with Perez laboring here in the fourth inning. The 0-2. And a base hit into left field for Grichuk. Martin will be held at third. He'll slide to a stop to slow his momentum and then head back to the bag. Well, that's got to feel good for Grichuk. The Blue Jays now have them loaded with nobody out.
The Rangers outfielders have 7 outfield assists. That's tied for second for the most in the majors. And with nobody out, you just can't gamble on trying to send Russell Martin home. Real gets to the ball in pretty good shape, and Rivera stops him at third. Russell's got a full head of steam and then slides to a stop after he rounded third. But the Angels have 7 outfield assists. The Pirates lead with 8 in the majors, but we have seen some good throws from the Rangers outfield in this series.
And no reason to risk anything with nobody out. Doug Brocail, the pitching coach, out to the mound. Buy a little more time for Barnett. Second mound visit of the game for Texas. Tim Timmons will break it up. So a great opportunity here for the Blue Jays to blow it open. Got a run in already on the home run by Pilar. Now a couple of walks and a single have loaded the bases with nobody out for Diaz.
Yeah, you got to have changeup in your mind if you're Diaz, because he's thrown so many of them, and in this situation, I think they're going to start him off with a changeup. From a high fastball, not close to being a strike.
Diaz called out on strikes back in the second. Had a base hit yesterday, but is still just 2 for his last 28, hitting 187. There's the changeup, but he missed outside. Ball 2. When he has made contact, he's done some damage. He's got 6 extra base hits amongst the 14 hits that he's got. 2 doubles, 4 homers. Looking to drive in some runs right here. Big swing and a foul back, 2-1.
Well, he got a good pitch to hit too. And his fastball got it on the inner half and just fouled it straight down.
Tough sledding so far for Jeff Bannister today, with Perez struggling. He's given up 3 homers and he's walked 4 batters. Another fastball to hit, 2-2. Blue Jays have had all kinds of trouble in recent games batting with the runners in scoring position. Now they just got a base hit from Grichuk in that kind of a spot. Martin was held at third, though. Let's see about Diaz. And it is held by Chirinos. Diaz strikes out for out number 1.
Yeah, changeup that was foul tip but held onto by the catcher. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. Camera reimagined, available now. And he needed to strike out. Perez went right back to the changeup, and Chirinos held on to the foul tip. But that's still just the first out of the inning.
And it'll get the leadoff hitter up there, Steve Pearce, who has popped up and grounded out. Bases loaded, 1 down now for the Blue Jays. Change up away. Well, Pearce knows a thing or two about hitting grand slams in a Blue Jay uniform. Had 2 walk-off grand slams in what, a 4-day span last July?
Yeah, and he's in a perfect situation here, hitting against the lefty. Blue Jays have hit 3 grand slams so far this season. You mentioned Perez, hitters hitting over 400 against him coming into this game, and he's given up 3 long home runs. Blue Jays need a base hit right here just to cash in this bases loaded situation.
play off to the right, 2-1. It would feel like a huge moral victory for the Rangers if the Blue Jays can't score any more runs here in the fourth. They did score one to lead off the inning on the Pilar home run. That almost feels like another inning ago, a separate inning from this one.
Chirinos, the catcher, being attended to by the trainer. Not sure what happened. He's been dealing with a wrist injury, but this doesn't seem to be that. It's more like a neck problem. Looks like he's trying to flex his neck to get it loose.
Oh, he did get it. Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
The follow through, yeah. Oh, hit him right in the Adam's apple with the bat.
I don't think Pierce ever felt it. Never knew it happened. Chirinos okay. Good take there on a pitch away. 3 balls and a strike now on Pierce. So if you're Pierce, are you looking for a certain type of pitch, a certain location? What are you thinking?
I think what he needs to think about is hitting it to the big part of the field, because that'll allow him to stay on the changeup if Perez should happen to throw it to him. He doesn't throw hard enough where you really have to get the bat going to get the fastball.
3-1, line to second, and that'll be a double play to end the inning. He hit it right on the screws, but he hit it right at Kiner Falefa, and the Jays get just the 1 run. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Jamie Campbell, Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio. Guerrero had 3 more hits yesterday. Look at those numbers, a .373 average. And Kevin Biggio not getting the attention that Guerrero and Bo Bichette are getting, but he's off to a great start.
Well, he sure is, and Biggio started playing first base because Gurriel was there playing a lot of second base, but now he's slid back over to his natural position. He homered in 3 consecutive games earlier this past week, and Guerrero, just 19 years old. He set a franchise record for the AA team in New Hampshire with 24 RBIs, and he keeps adding to that. He's got a couple more days left of the month.
I'd love to know how New Hampshire's attendance this year compares to New Hampshire's attendance last year. I bet you there are all kinds of Blue Jay fans, maybe once the summer months come along, who will make road trips down there on the weekend to see some of those kids play.
Yeah, I think you're right, and they're going to be there. You know, I think the plan is to keep them there for most of the season and let them just really build up their numbers and have a great full season. But then plans change.
Strike taken by Profar, and Jay Happ's quickly out in front 0-2 on the Rangers shortstop. 4-1 Blue Jays top 5. Happ, who comes in averaging better than 12 strikeouts per 9 innings, already has 6 through the first 4 innings today. And make it 7.
Well, Happ, as we mentioned, not really characterized as a strikeout pitcher, but he's got 7 strikeouts today. That gives him 48, same as Justin Verlander. And he's one behind Garrett Cole of the Astros. Another high fastball. It's so tempting. The hitters chase it often, even though it's well out of the zone. With 2 strikes, you see it so well. It's eye high, but you can't catch up to it.
And they keep adding to the totals out there. That is 7 through 4 1/3. A strike taken now by Robinson Chirinos, who struck out his first time out. You see that pitch and that result so often when Jay Happ is on the mound.
Yeah. Inner half, inner quarter of the plate to right-handed hitters, letter high and above.
Strike 3 called. Number 8 for Happ. And Chirinos saying no, that's a ball. Jay Happ again doing what he does best. Fastball inside to righties, either for a swing and a miss or for a called strike on the inside corner.
Yeah, it's 90 miles an hour. It's a 2-seam fastball that has some late movement on it. And that clearly got over the corner. There's no doubt about it.
So 3 consecutive strikeouts for Happ going back to the last out of the 4th. And here's Rua, who had a base hit his first time up. He thought that ball was outside. Happ gets the benefit of the doubt, and it's 0-1. And you know as well as anybody, when you're hitting your spot, sometimes you get those borderline calls as the game progresses.
Umpires get into a rhythm as well. You get into a rhythm of calling strikes because you're around the plate so often. Jim Timmons, a long-time umpire, and I think everybody likes it when pitchers are throwing strikes.
And a ground ball out to second. Gurriel 2 steps to his right. That's a nice quick 1-2-3 inning for Jay Happ. We go bottom 5 at a Rogers Center. Blue Jays 4 and the Rangers 1. The season for Martin Perez, and things really didn't get a whole lot better for him here today.
No, they sure didn't. 3 home runs out of the 5 hits, 4 earned runs. He walked 4. That got him into trouble as well. It's been a consistent start for him. Tony Barnett, the reliever, making just his 3rd appearance. He was just activated off the disabled list.
And the first batter he'll face is a guy who took Perez deep his last time up, Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah, he is showing an awful lot of good power the opposite way. It's a booming high drive to right. You can see the 33 degrees of launch angle, hit at 387 feet beyond the bullpen in right. He's got power to reach the seats in all directions.
One of 3 home runs for the Blue Jays today. In addition to Hernandez, Yangervis Solarte and Kevin Pilar have also homered. And there's was one of the tricks of the trade for Tony Barnett. A little hesitation in the middle of his windup.
Barnett spent 6 years in Japan. He went over there as a starter in 2010, but then went to the bullpen and became a closer for the Swallows in 2015 before he came back to Texas. He had 41 saves. That used to be an indication that your career was over in the big leagues. Not the case anymore.
And he had not been in the majors before going to Japan. As Hernandez chases a breaking ball in the dirt. That's a strikeout. Barnett had spent 4 years in the minors, originally selected by Arizona. All the years were in the Diamondback system, and then 6 years in Japan. So 10 years in professional baseball before getting a chance to pitch in the major leagues. And his first year with Texas had a great year, 2.09 ERA in 53 appearances. Here's Justin Smoak, a couple of ground balls today. Turns around to bat from the left side against the right-hander Barnett, and he takes a fastball up and in for ball one. Interesting that the Rangers do not have a full shift on against Smoak. Again, every team looks at the data differently, I guess, but most teams, seems to me, Buck, when he's batting for the left side, have 3 guys on the right side of the infield. The Rangers don't.
Yeah, consistently you'll see those 3 defenders move to the right side, but not the case here. And
he just grazed him.
He just grazed his jersey. Yep, he's hit by a pitch.
So a base runner for the Blue Jays with 1 out for Hernandez Solarte.
This is how you want to get hit by a pitch. If you're going to be hit, this just brushes his jersey. You can see he actually caught his jersey on the back arm.
Solarte homered from the right side of the plate back in the second. Taking all the way, looks at a breaking ball outside, ball one.
Yeah, you haven't seen him pitch an awful lot. Solarte has only faced Barnett once, so he wanted to look, and he's been doing that. He's consistent the last couple of days just to get a feel for what he's dealing with, trying to work out of this mini slump he's in.
Takes another one. The last second kind of backed away from that inside cutter, thought it was headed towards his knees.
Chris Sale hit him on this homestand with a big slider. Of course, he was batting right-handed, caught him in the back knee, and he got hit flush. Just enough movement on that cutter to get it off the barrel.
Two balls and a strike on Solarte. The home run back in the second is 7th of the season. Play off to the left. So Solarte is the home run leader for the Blue Jays, and by a bit of a margin right now. Pilar hit his 4th today. Hernandez hit his 4th today, and Leonidas Diaz is 4 as well. Career high for Solarte is 18, but as we talked about a few days ago, if he gets 500 at-bats this year, who knows if he will or not, but if he does, which is on average about what he got in San Diego, he figures to have an excellent chance to set a new career high. Much better hitter's ballpark here than in San Diego. 2-2. Foul back again.
Yeah, and you know, we've talked about this, and you can go back to Josh Donaldson when he first got here coming from Oakland. He too recognized that, boy, this is a good hitter's park. You can hit balls the opposite field and they'll go out. In Oakland, it wasn't the case. You had to really juice one to left to the pull side at least. And Donaldson really turned into a great hitter coming to this ballpark. He was a great hitter before, but he took advantage of the friendly dimensions here at Rogers Center.
Another 2-2, and a curveball misses outside. A full count. Wouldn't think there'd be anything going on with Smoke here with 1 out and a 3-2 count on Solarte.
He hasn't exactly been tearing it up on the base paths lately.
Had a bit of an adventurous day a couple of days ago. Draws the throw. How about that? He can hang his hat on that.
He's a threat to run.
And a ground ball to the right side. They'll go for the lead runner and will get him. 4-6 on the put out. Kind of for left of the profile to force Smoke 2 down.
The Lawn and Garden event is on now until May 15th. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Here's how.
Dan Shulman to Buck Martinez, Hazel May with you on a Sunday afternoon in Toronto, bottom of the 5th. And the Blue Jays up 4-1, trying to snap their 4-game losing streak. They are 14-12 on the season right now and headed out on the road, starting a series against the Twins tomorrow night. Kevin Pilar has walked and homered. And the pitch.
Had a good swing at that one. Now, he mentioned how well he's hitting at home, and you mentioned it, Dan, talking to him in the spring, how he wanted to be a complete hitter, hit the ball all over the ballpark.
And he's done that with great success in the early going. The key for Pilar, we've seen streaks like this in the past from him. It's just, can he sustain it for longer than a few weeks at a time? Rifled foul down the left field line. It's 0-2.
Yeah, and that's the big thing you want to find out as a hitter is how you keep consistent at bats and how you stay in this groove. I mean, you're going to have ups and downs always, but what you want to make sure of is that you prevent those long skids and figure out how you can flare hits around. So oftentimes you talk to hitting coach and tell him how you feel during the hot streaks so he can remind you how to get back to that when you should slump a bit.
Sometimes you can hit him hard and you still don't have anything to show for it.
Yeah, and you know what? You want to stay up the middle? Well, this is what happens when Cologne's on the mound. A line drive. It looked like it may have been headed to center. Cologne snared it and had a little smile afterwards and had it all the way. Can't hit it past me.
Most hitters will tell you the breaks don't even out. Most hitters will say the breaks go the pitcher's way, and most pitchers will tell you the breaks go the hitter's way. Trying to come in on him. Too far inside.
Yeah, you go back to the dugout after lining out like that, and everybody say, hey, man, you had a good at bat, good swing. And hey, yeah, I don't want to hear that. I'd rather have broken my bat and got a base hit.
The result's more important than the process?
Absolutely.
1-2 the count on Pilar. 2 down, and Solarte at first on the fielder's choice. A very late third strike call from Tim Timmons on a slider that he says backed up over the inside corner. Pilar not happy at all. And to 5 at Rogers Center. One more look going to break, and Pilar still jawing with the umpire. Tim Leeper trying to make sure that Pilar stays in this game. We're going to look going to break, and to 5, and the Blue Jays lead 4-1. from one of TD's community partners. And we also want to send a special shout out today to the Shoal Lake 40 Flyers from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation. They're a team in the Rookie League program that is run by Jays Care. They won their league, and as a result, they won a trip to see today's game, and they have traveled 1,300 kilometers to be here. Congratulations to the Shoal Lake 40 Flyers.
Great to have you here at the ballpark today, and it's a big program the Jays Care has put together in their rookie program, and they have allowed lots of youngsters across Canada to continue to play baseball. And they're shoring up a lot of the existing ballparks and sometimes building new ones.
Top 6, 4-1 Blue Jays, and J. Happ still throwing strikes. It's 0-2 on Delano to Shields. If you haven't been with us this afternoon, Happ has allowed a run on 4 hits, has not walked a batter. He has struck out 8 already. That is a fair ball down the left field line. Hernandez deep in the corner to play into Shields, easily into second with a leadoff double.
He had an infield single to start the ball game. Hit it right in the hole, beat it out, and now he's got a double, a leadoff double here in the 6th. J. Happ continues to throw strikes to Shields, is able to keep it fair just inside the bag at 3rd. It's just his 2nd double of the season.
And the first hit for the Rangers since Rua led off the 3rd with a single. Shin-Soo Choo is 0 for 2 with strikeout and a ground out. Hits are even at 5 apiece, for the Blue Jays have a 4-1 lead as Choo takes down and away ball 1. And again, what the Blue Jays are looking for from Happ is not only an effective outing, but as deep an outing as possible to spare as many relievers as possible, although Tepera and Osuna both should be available. They both pitched in yesterday's game, Buck, as you know, but Tepera threw 12 pitches, so he should be fine. Osuna threw 21. Neither of them threw on Friday, so both of them should be available. Barnes did not pitch yesterday, although he warmed up late in the game. Clipper didn't pitch yesterday either. The number out in front of the plate. Martin looks to 3rd, but doesn't have a play there, so he'll take the out at 1st on Choo.
He thought about going to 3rd, but the Shields runs so well. You got to make sure you get an out in this situation. You've got a 3-run lead. And then basically it was a sacrifice swing, if you will. He just tapped it out in front of home, and Russell takes a look at the Shields, but he was too far advanced toward 3rd to make a throw.
So runner at 3rd, 1 out, and the Blue Jays will concede a run on a ground ball with a 4-1 lead here in the 6th inning. Isaiah Kiner Falefa has flied out and lined out. Happ has held the 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters of the Rangers to a collective 0 for 9 today. 2-0.
And that's why you play the infield back in this situation, because of where you are in the batting order. These are the guys that are supposed to drive in the run, so you'll take an out, give up a run, just so you don't allow the Rangers an opportunity for a big inning. The Blue Jays starters have struggled over their last 7 starts to the tune of 0-5 with a .669 earned run average. So they need to get things tightened up a bit. There you see Danny Barnes loosening up.
Obviously, John Gibbons would love to get Happ at least through the 6th inning if he can today. Now we're back 2-2. And there's really no sign that Happ's stuff is much different now than it was earlier in the game.
No, not at all. He still has that good skip on his fastball when he throws it upstairs.
Two. And a ground ball to short. This will produce a run. Dropped, picked up, and scooped at first as Justin Smoak just bailed out Aledmus Diaz.
Oh, he sure did. That was a routine ground ball. Diaz had it pop out of his glove, but he quickly got on it. And then credits Smoak for digging it out. Had to rush his throw. Fortunately, the runner wasn't that fast, because he could have beat this one out. routine ground ball. He got a little flat-footed as he tried to grab it, but there's Smoke with a sure hands over at first to bail him out.
So give Kiner-Falefa the RBI on the ground ball. It's now 4-2 with 2 outs and the bases empty, and the batter was Nomar Mazara 0 for 2. Terrific scoop by Smoke, who I think around the game probably underrated defensively for the stuff he does there.
Yeah, and you know what? He's got great hands, and his range is okay, but boy, he's really good at digging out those low throws. Infielders trust him a lot.
And a ground ball to Smoke. He's got it. Waves off Happ, makes the play himself, and that's all for Texas here in the 6th. They will get a run, though, but it's now 4-2 Blue Jays going by the 6th.
Toronto Blue Jays. From May 8th to the 10th, they welcome the Seattle Mariners to town. Then a second meeting against AL East rivals, the Boston Red Sox, followed by the Oakland Athletics from the 17th to the 20th. And then Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani visit Rogers Center from the 22nd to the 24th. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Dan.
Well, a lot to look forward to there, Hazel. Thank you for the upcoming home schedule. I think a lot of people will be very interested in Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani's arrival in Toronto. So still about 3.5 weeks away, so tough to predict exactly what Ohtani's role would be in that series. The Angels with a 6-man rotation. So we'll wait and see if his spot turns up. It's a 3-game series. You got a 50-50 shot of him starting a game.
Well, the good thing is you're going to see him play. He'll either DH or pitch.
Yep. Generally, he has not DH'd the day before a start and the day after a start. So he'll start, day off, probably play as the DH the next 3 days, day off, and then make his next start. Got a bit of a tender ankle right now. Rolled his ankle a couple days ago.
Yeah, that was on Friday night, and there was a much anticipated matchup between Tanaka and Ohtani. And they were hopeful of getting that matchup on Saturday, but he rolled his ankle and couldn't play.
It's funny, a couple of my kids are in fantasy pools and that sort of thing, and Ohtani is split up there. You can draft Ohtani the pitcher and you can draft Ohtani the hitter, but it's separate because it's 2 completely separate sets of categories, and everybody thought if he was one person he'd be just too good. Hot shot down to third, and Martin's going to reach again. That is the second time today that Martin's hit the ball very hard on the infield, and that one got down to Nunez in a hurry, and he's paying the price.
Yeah, he got smoked on the shin, and the trainer standing by just in case he needs to go and check on it. Watch how this ball just eats him up, and he stays with it. It'll be an error, and it could have been 2 had Russell been able to advance. The third base, it's the hot corner for a reason. He gets his body sideways. It looked like it hit him right on the side of the knee.
It's a painful error for Nunez. Still grimacing over there as Martin is aboard to begin the inning. And here's Lourdes Gurriel, who has reached on a fielder's choice and drawn a walk.
The error is the 24th committed by the Rangers, and that defense has been a problem, especially without their regulars now.
On Ohtani, Buck, in 44 at bats, he's got 15 hits. He's hitting .341. He's got 4 homers. He's got an OPS over 1,000. And as a pitcher, he has a drive to left center field, and that's going to get down for a base hit. And around to third comes Russell Martin, who's been scampering around the bases today. He's not given the look of a 35-year-old catcher this afternoon at all. He's advanced on a wild pitch, taken third on a base hit, and then slid to a stop, rounding third because he had the stop sign, and now he goes first to third on a single.
It's an unusual grip on a two-seam fastball. He catches the top of the horseshoe, and Gurriel puts a swing on it. Drives it into center field. It gets down. DeShields is able to cut it off, but Russell Martin read it very well and goes first to third, sensing that DeShields had to lay back and play that big hop.
So let's see if the Blue Jays can get something back after the Rangers tallied one in the top half of the inning. It's been a productive day so far for Randall Grichuk. Grichuk with a sac fly in the second, and then a base hit between third and short into left field in the fourth. A couple of breaking balls. It's 0-2.
Job by Chirinos. That ball close enough to keep Gurriel from advancing and making sure that Russell couldn't score from third. So Grichuk has another opportunity to drive in a run if hit the ball on the ground. Take a look at this block as Chirinos really squared it up, killed it right in front of home plate. Stayed on top of it.
Blue Jays looking for a little breathing room here in the bottom of the sixth. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count on Grichuk. And the Barnett offering. And that time Grichuk lays off the breaking ball. 2-2. Grichuk getting a chance to play today because there's a lefty on the mound and Kendrys Morales is not in the lineup. Sometimes you see Morales DHing against lefties and then Pierce in the outfield. But Morales sits today, Pierce DHs, and Grichuk gets a spot in right field. Sharply hit to second. The Profar one and back to first. Bad throw. And as a result, Grichuk is safe. It'll go as a fielder's choice RBI. 5-2 Blue Jays.
And Martin comes in to score. He reached on an air. And it looked like a routine double play ball sharply hit to the second baseman. Kiner Falefa, he flips to Profar, comes across the bag. Gallen does a heck of a job of spearing that errant throw.
So Grichuk is at first with 1 out. Second RBI of the game for Randall Grichuk. And he just got picked off first. Barnett spun and fired, and no argument from Grichuk.
Well, Barnett very quick to first base. He makes a nice throw right into the base runner. Grichuk just took 1/2 step towards second and gets tagged out by Gallen. Just a little stutter step towards second, anticipating Barnett was going to go to the plate.
And not even really that close. So 2 down in the inning now, and the base is empty. 5-2 Blue Jays, and the batter is Diaz. A fly ball down the left field line. Rua is coming over, sliding, It's a foul ball, and he is credited with the catch. The umpire only put his arm up after Rua rolled over and showed it to him. And then Mike Winters went up with a right arm. Diaz not so sure. The Blue Jay dugout is not so sure. And DeMarlo Hale is on the phone. Tough to see down the line as he slid on the turf into the low wall in front of the seats. Let's get a look at replay, and no, he trapped it. Yeah, he trapped that ball.
The ball bounced into his glove,
Yeah.
so he was sliding. This is where I think they really need to improve the replay process. If you think the play is wrong, just challenge it. I don't think you should have the ability to go
To look at
the replay. It takes too long. Give the teams 2 challenges per game. If the baseball people on the field sense that the call is wrong, challenge it immediately, and then you'd be done with all these delays. But yeah, for 30 seconds, they're trying to make it shorter. But I think you should just eliminate communication between the video room. If your baseball people on the field feel like the call is wrong, then you just challenge it, and you don't have to wait for a review.
Well, Rua didn't jog off the field with a whole lot of conviction after that play, so he obviously had a feeling that there's a pretty good chance this is going to be overturned. The replay officials in New York do start looking even before the headsets go on and a replay is asked for here. Anything they sense might be reviewed, they start looking at the video in New York to try to speed it up. I don't think there's any question that he trapped that ball. But again, they've got to feel there's conclusive evidence to overturn it because the call on the field wasn't out. And again, Mike Winters didn't raise the arm until Rua rolled over and showed him the glove. And Winters probably at least 100 feet, maybe more than that, from Rua at the time that play is made.
Sure taking a long time, and we saw an angle that clearly you could see the ball bounced on the turf and into the glove of Rua.
I mean, sometimes the ball can roll around, bounce in the glove, roll around a little bit, so you can see it for a fair bit of time, even though it didn't hit the turf. But that one sure looked like it hit the turf. I'm with you. I'm surprised this is taking so long.
Yeah, and that doesn't bode well for the Blue Jays.
No.
Rua was trying to explain to his teammates, yeah, I caught it. Yeah, right in my pocket. Now, earlier in the game, there was a foul pop that landed untouched on the right side, and then Pilar would hit a home run in that at bat.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I was concerned because it was taking so long. And Diaz is the one that does not get the benefit of video review.
Keep an eye on that. What a way to break into the big leagues for Nick Kingham, a 26-year-old making his debut with the Pirates today. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays have a 5-2 lead going to the 7th. Jay Happ's at 90 pitches. And back out there to face Joey Gallo, Renato Nunez, and Jurickson Profar. Danny Barnes was up behind Happ in the 6th inning and is standing on the mound, looking ready if needed here as Happ against the top of the 7th.
Yeah, it'd be nice if Happ could get through 7 and save those bullets down in that bullpen. Tough week coming up for the Blue Jays with the doubleheader on Thursday in Cleveland. Yeah, to follow up on Kingham. He made 4 starts at AAA Indianapolis for the Pirates before being called up. He was 2-1 with a 159 earned run average. He had really pitched well in his early starts in the minors. Not this well. 8 strikeouts.
1-2 is outside to Gallo. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got him. Number 9.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Dan Shulman to Buck Martinez, Hazel May, Rogers Center on a Sunday afternoon, and that tells a lot of the story here today. Jay Happ's got 9 strikeouts as he faces Renato Nunez, who has homered off Happ but then struck out in his 2nd at bat. Last 5 games for Happ, here are his strikeout totals: 9, 9, 8, 10, and then 9 here today. Jammed him. Again, a well-located fastball drifting back. Gurriel for out number 2.
Well, at the start of play, Garrett Cole of the Astros was leading the American League in strikeouts. And you can see the tick up in strikeouts per 9 from Jay Happ. Last 3 seasons, it's improved each and every year. Now it's up to 12.7 strikeouts per 9 innings. And it's the best ratio in the American League, 3rd best in the majors in that department. Garrett Cole is pitching today for Houston. He has 8 strikeouts through 4 innings. So he's added to his league total. He is now at 57 strikeouts, where Happ is at 50.
Boy, did they add to their rotation by picking up Cole in the offseason, as if they needed a lot of help. Jurickson Profar lifts a fly ball to right field. Randall Grichuk is there. That's a 1-2-3 7th for Jay Happ, giving the Blue Jays exactly what they needed today. Authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. And it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. The formula for the Blue Jays today: 3 home runs and a very strong outing from their starter, Jay Happ.
The Earl Weaver formula: hit home runs and get good pitching. Second straight game, Happ has given the Blue Jays 7 innings. He didn't walk a batter. In his last 2 games, he hasn't walked a batter and struck out 19.
Looks like he was trying to stay in the game, but I think he lost the argument there with John Gibbons and Pete Walker. The handshake from Walker, the pitching coach. Bottom of 7, 5-2 for the Blue Jays. And Steve Pearce is the batter. It's the 3rd inning out of the bullpen now for Tony Barnett for the Rangers. Pearce has popped up, grounded out, and then hit a ball about as hard as you can hit a ball, but he lined it right at the second baseman, Kiner Falefa, who started a double play as Gurriel couldn't get back to second in time. So that outing by Happ today, it's just the 4th time this year that a Blue Jay pitcher has gone 7 innings. It's actually just the 4th time they've even gone beyond 6 1/3 or greater, but I think all 4 of those have been 7-inning starts.
And Happ's done it in his last 2 starts. Marco Estrada went 7 and Sanchez went 8. That's been it.
Anthony's 2-2. Never too early to break down today's performance and start thinking about the next one.
Yeah, he's talking about a pitch that really tied up a hitter. Probably Joey Gallo. He struck him out to start the last inning. But he didn't lose anything off his fastball late into the game.
Barnett to face Teoscar Hernandez next, and then Justin Smoke. 5 runs, 6 hits, and an error for the Blue Jays. 2 runs, 5 hits, and an error for the Rangers. Blue Jays trying to salvage the final game of the series. Check the swing. The appeal, no swing. Says Rob Drake down at first, and that's ball 4. Left-hander Jake Diekman, who appeared in yesterday's game for the Rangers, is up again today. And with Happ getting through 7, that means Danny Barnes won't be asked to pitch, and Ryan Tepera will get ready for the 8th inning. A game like this kind of gives a reset to the likes of Barnes, Clippard, potentially Axford and Loop as well. Hernandez drives one again, deep right center field, off the wall. Pearce on his way to 3rd, and Hernandez into 2nd. He continues to swing the bat well and continues to drive the ball to right and right center.
Yeah, he's staying on all the pitches, and last year when he hit those 8 home runs, he pulled a lot of them. This year he's a totally different hitter and showing good power to right and right center. Stays on this pitch. It's down and away from him, and initially he thought he got enough of it to hit it out of the ballpark. But Pearce had to wait and make sure it wasn't caught, so he wasn't going to go anywhere until Pearce had decided where he was going to end up.
And that's all for Barnett. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out is the situation Jake Diekman will inherit. Left-hander Jake Diekman becomes the third pitcher of the afternoon for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, Diekman's in to turn Smoke around, but it's really interesting how the numbers favor Smoke batting as a right-handed hitter over a left-handed hitter, so they'll turn him around to his stronger side.
And he sends the first pitch to left field. Backing up is Rua. He'll make the catch shy of the track. Pierce is going to tag and score. Hernandez will tag and advance to third. Sac fly Smoke, 6-2.
Well, good base running. Pierce tags. He knows he's going to score on a deep fly ball to left. But Luis Rivera did a good job of directing Hernandez and his slide. As the throw was pretty much on line, he just told him to slide to the inside of third base. Smoke picks up the RBI, his 15th of the season. But Teoscar did a good job to immediately go back and tag to get himself over to third base.
And that'll force the infield in for the Rangers, already down 6-2. Runner at third, one out for Hernandez Solarte, who's 1 for 3 today. Homered from this side of the plate off Martin Perez back in the second. These are the little extra things. This run, maybe one more. That might help you avoid using Roberto Osuna. Okay, so Tepera is going to come in the 8th. But Osuna threw 21 pitches yesterday. If they want to have him tomorrow, probably can't use him today. They'll use him if they have to. But if they score another run here, you might see Clippard or somebody like that, or maybe Barnes comes in and then you save Osuna.
Or Ramirez.
That's right, Carlos Ramirez.
He's loosening up right now. So when they got that added run, he jumped up and started throwing. He just has been recalled from AAA Buffalo, and Devin Travis was sent to the minors. They needed a fresh arm, and Ramirez got the call. Now, according to what happens the rest of this inning, he might be able to save Tepera as well.
Into left field, Rua charging, not going to get there. Going to drop in for a base hit in front of him. Hernandez in to score on the single by Solarte, and it's 7-2.
Yeah, that's a big run. Solarte picks up his second RBI of the afternoon. Hernandez was tagging at third, which he should do. And then once it hit and bounced up in the air, he was able to score easily, bringing up the RBI for Solarte. 2 big runs here in the 7th. You can see Diekman threw him a breaking ball, kind of hits it off the handle, but gets enough of it to flare it into left field. And Hernandez goes back to tag immediately. And then once the ball hits, it bounces high enough in the air that there's no chance to make a throw.
So the Blue Jays tack on a couple of runs here in the bottom of the 7th, now up 7-2 for Kevin Pilar, who has walked, homered, and struck out. He's got 3 home runs in his last 2 games. Pretty good breaking ball there, 1-1.
Yeah, Diekman's got a good arm, and we have seen him in this series. He pitched yesterday. A couple of strikeouts in an inning of work.
Red Sox have rallied to tie Tampa at 3. It's a foul ball off the bat of Pilar. Red Sox with 3 in the bottom of the 6th, including a 2-run single by J.D. Martinez. So they're now knotted up at 3-3, middle of the 7th against Tampa. Again, the Yankees play tonight against the Angels. The Yankees are red hot. They've won 8 in a row. And keeping an eye on that game in Pittsburgh that Jamie told you about a little bit earlier. Nick Kingham making his major league debut, perfect through 6 against the Cardinals. Chopper towards third, and Pilar is out on a close play at first. The throw by Nunez to second goes Solarte.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
A much better day so far for the Blue Jays than they experienced the last couple of games against the Rangers, losing the first 2. And really not just playing sharp baseball in a number of respects. Of course, when your starting pitcher goes out and has the kind of game that J. Happ has today, it makes a lot of things look better. And he was vintage J. Happ today. Throwing strikes, 9 strikeouts through 7. Solarte's talking to everybody he can talk to out there. He's talking to Profar, the shortstop. He's talking to Nunez, the third baseman. He's been at it with Odor, who's in the dugout all day long.
Having a regular conversation with Profar now. Tell you what, he loves to play baseball. And you can see it.
Outside, a ball and a strike to Russell Martin.
Russell has swung the bat very well today. He had a base hit off the pitcher's foot in the second. He walked in the fourth and then hit a hot shot that hit the third baseman in the knee. It was ruled in air, but it really handcuffed Nunez at third.
One and two. Well, for the Blue Jays to have a solid offensive team this year, they're not going to be carried by just 2 or 3 guys. They're going to need contributions from guys up and down the lineup. The additions of Hernandez and Gurriel have certainly helped. Martin getting going would help. Obviously, Donaldson coming back would help tremendously. And again, that big breaking ball, and Martin strikes out to end the bottom of the 7th. With Smoke and Solarte driving runs, and it's 7-2 Blue Jays. Exactly what the Blue Jays needed. A quality performance and deep into the game.
Yeah, he has been terrific. He improves his record against Texas pitching here at home to 3-1 over his 4 starts. He was very good and exactly what the Blue Jays needed. No walks for a second straight start. So in his last 2 starts, he's pitched 14 innings. Hasn't walked a batter and struck out 19.
And here's Ryan Tepera. So he was up and getting loose when it was still 5-2. Blue Jays had on a couple of runs, but John Gibbons obviously thinking, well, he got him hot. May as well get him in the game here.
And you mentioned it earlier. He only threw 12 pitches in his inning of work yesterday and gave up a hit that got a double play. That was in the 7th inning.
So Tepera will face Robinson Chirinos, Ryan Rua, and then Delino DeShields, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the Rangers lineup. Chirinos has struck out twice today, once swinging, once looking against Jay Happ, who now has 50 strikeouts and 7 walks on the season. And a first pitch strike from Tepera.
You know, he also faced the minimum 3 batters in 5 of his 7 innings today. That's a real effective outing for Jay.
So his next start figures to be Friday against Tampa Bay. Unless the weather intervenes in that scheduled makeup doubleheader Thursday in Cleveland, at which point we would imagine Joe Biagini will be summoned to start one of the 2 games, just like he was in the last doubleheader. Relatively recent rule, a few years old. In a doubleheader, you can have a 26th player come up, and obviously Joe Biagini would be a likely candidate. He's already done it once for this club.
Joe pitched yesterday.
So he's right on track.
Pawtucket. So yeah, he is right on track. And he had that call up and did a good job when he came up and made a start.
One, two to Chirinos, and a swing and a miss at a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
Tepera muscling up on a 97-mile-an-hour heater there to strike out Chirinos for the first out of the 8th. And here's Rua. And in there at 97 again.
Yeah, so much for back-to-back days for Tepera affected him. He's stronger today than he was yesterday.
'96 with a little movement, a little sink, and it's 0-2. Just inside, not by much. And the left-hander Matt Moore, who is a starter for this team, but they're going with a 6-man rotation, so they occasionally have a guy on what really is his throw day up and available out of the pen if they need him. You see Pablo Sandoval pitched an inning for the Giants yesterday. I saw a couple of highlights, threw some 88-mile-an-hour fastballs. I think retired the Dodgers in order. They were getting blown out, the Giants were, obviously. That's why he was in the game. It's a 15-6 game.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and you get an appreciation for pitchers and how good of athletes they are when they can throw 97 when a position player comes in and you think, well, he'll be throwing 95, 96, and Sandoval topped out at 88.
And Tepera with back-to-back strikeouts.
It's more of a slider breaking ball than the cutter he'll use. He's got a more depth on it, and he was able to get the swing from Ryan Rua. He strikes out for the first time today. And you can see the depth on that slider. It's 83 miles an hour, a little more of a big breaking ball than the cutter he will use from time to time.
So 2 down and back to the top of the order for Delino DeShields, who is 2 for 3 today. His single, double, and scored a run. And a high fly ball to shallow center field. It brings Pilar in. And he's there. That's a 1-2-3 inning and a nice one for Ryan Tepera. Still 7-2 Blue Jays. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Again, Jamie Campbell, Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio.
It's time to begin at 6:49.
18 Civic Type R.
Kevin Pilar hit 2 home runs in the game yesterday and liked it so much he hits another here today. It's a curveball from Martin Perez leading off the 4th inning. And in this at bat, Pilar had popped up a ball that fell untouched in foul territory down the right side, and then would get a 2-strike curveball from Perez and hit it out of the ballpark. 4th home run for Pilar, as we mentioned, it came as a leadoff home run in the 4th inning.
And as we go to the bottom of the 8th, with the Blue Jays up by 5 right now, Jeff Bannister has put one of his starting pitchers in here to work an inning. It's left-hander Matt Moore.
Matt Moore has been a regular starter, as Dan explained. The Rangers using 6 starters currently. Doug Fister is back. They don't have an announced starter for Wednesday in Cleveland. They'll play their next series in Cleveland, and the Blue Jays will follow them in on Thursday and play the doubleheader.
Moore is 1-3 with a 5.55 ERA this season through 6 appearances, 5 starts. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. leading off the bottom half of the 8th for the Blue Jays. He's reached on a fielder's choice. He's walked and he's had a base hit. And that's something we've seen fairly frequently. Starts the swing, but the recognition and the ability to check the swing rather than chase a ball out of the zone. He has done it a couple of times today, but by and large, he's done a good job at holding up on that kind of a situation.
Matt Morris started the series in Texas on Friday night against the Blue Jays. Went 3 1/3, gave up 6 runs, 5 earned runs. He had 4 walks in that game. Just never really got into the flow of the game. He was out early. Josh Donaldson had an RBI single in the 4th to knock him out of the game.
Randal Grichuk's on deck for the Blue Jays, up 7-2 bottom 8. 3-2. And he shoots it to right field, and the catch will be made by Chu. Battling either the spin or the lights or both. That was a tricky play for him out in right field.
Yeah, it looked like the ball got into that bank of lights above the Blue Jays dugout. And when we see these low liners either at the right fielder or the left fielder, the ball will get into the lights, and Chu had to fight to get an angle to make this play. It's a low liner to right. He gets down trying to get in a position where he could see the ball clearly. But he was fighting it right there. Stayed with it. Got down low enough so it came out of the lights.
Randal Grichuk. A sac fly in the 2nd, a base hit in the 4th, a fielder's choice and an RBI in the 6th. Probably the fielder's choice, the ground ball. That's the ball he hit hardest today, but he hit it right at the second baseman. And Aaron Loop is up in the pen for the Blue Jays, so evidently no Ramirez today, and with a 5-run lead, John Gibbons obviously will try to stay away from Roberto Osuna today. And a ground ball to the left of a diving Profar, and he won't have a play. Came up with the ball, but just couldn't get the throw going from the seat of his pants. And that'll be an infield hit for Grichuk, his 2nd hit of the game.
The Lawn and Garden event is on now until May 15th, only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Here's how.
Another base hit by Grichuk, and Profar couldn't get to his feet to make a throw. So Grichuk's had a good day.
Aledmus Diaz with a ground ball down to 3rd, to 2nd one, back to 1st, double play. And that's all for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 8th. We go top 9, 7-2 Jays.
Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. You can count on us to get home safe. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
We have arrived at the top of the ninth inning at Rogers Center in front of a nice Sunday afternoon crowd with the Blue Jays up 7-2, 31,669 in attendance here today. You see the Blue Jays snap their losing streak, and it's looking pretty good right now. 7-2 going to the ninth with Aaron Loop into the game for the Blue Jays.
Ryan Tepera had a very good inning. Just 3 batters, a couple of strikeouts. Now Loop will try to close things out as efficiently as possible, just to make sure that everybody is ready to go for Minnesota and Cleveland on Thursday.
Shin-Soo Choo will lead it off for Texas. Choo is 0 for 3, strikeout and a couple of groundouts today. And Loop in with a first pitch strike. After Choo, Kiner-Falefa, and then Mazzara. If it holds up for the Blue Jays, Happ would get the win to go to 4-1 on the season. There would be no save. And the Blue Jays hitting 3 home runs in this game. Solarte his 7th, Hernandez his 4th, Pilar his 4th. And again, they continue to tack on runs. They just put the ball in play enough over the next couple of innings. Fielder's choice brought in a run. Sac fly brought in a run. Martin got to hurry and dug out again by Smoke for out number 1. Let's get an update now with Jamie Campbell. Absolutely. And Pirates off to a really nice start after the trades of Garrett Cole and Andrew McCutchen. To say the least, their fan base was not overly optimistic heading into the 2018 season, but they've had a good month.
They win today. They'll have won 5 in a row. They had a little bit of a skid prior to this late streak, but they have put together a pretty good start to their season.
Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the batter. He's 0 for 3, drove in a run and a ground out back in the 6th. And he laces a ball into left field. It's going to be cut off on the edge of the track by Hernandez. Kiner-Falefa digging for second, and in there just ahead of a very strong and accurate throw from Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah, he did a nice job of getting over, backhanding the ball. You could see he's a little frustrated. He didn't throw out the runner, but he made a good throw. He planted his right foot very firmly and then got off a terrific throw. Watch how he braces himself once he gets the ball, stops and fires a strike to second base. Gurriel's waiting on it, and the base runner just barely beat the throw in time. Kiner-Falefa with a double.
Terrific throw. Can't make a much better throw, but Kiner-Falefa in just ahead of it. And now here's Nomar Mazzara, 0 for 3. That's the pitch we've seen a lot from Loop the last 3 times out, is that low fastball inner half to a left-handed batter.
Had a terrific outing on Thursday against the Red Sox. He had 2 perfect innings, a couple of strikeouts. Retired all 6 that he faced.
Quickly out in front, 0-2. Blue Jays and Twins tomorrow night. Aaron Sanchez and Lance Lynn. Marco Estrada and Marcus Stroman will also start in the series against the Twins. Minnesota off to a 9-13 start. Entering play today.
Yeah, they've really gone through a rough patch. They're just 2-8 against the East.
They're getting walloped today by Cincinnati. The Reds are beating them 7-0. Jose Barrios got knocked around. Fly ball to left field. Hernandez racing back towards the corner, makes the catch. Tricky play towards the corner for out number 2.
Well, it's hit in a tough spot and it's slicing away from Hernandez. You just have to stay after it and really stay with the ball, because coming off the left-handed hitter's bat, it's going to slice away from the left fielder, and he made a nice running catch. 2 good plays in this inning for Teoscar.
And the Blue Jays an out away from snapping their 4-game losing streak and getting to 15-12 on the season, heading out on the road trip on a positive note. Joey Gallo 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Jays have the shift on. Solarte alone on the left side of the infield. Diaz has crossed around to the right side along with Gurriel and Smoke. Happ a strong 7 innings for the Blue Jays today, who needed it. Only Tepera and Loop needed out of the bullpen. Breaking ball there, and it's 1-2. He is sharp right now.
Yeah, he really is sharp, and he's been able to bury that fastball for strikes and then create a little bit bigger breaking ball to the lefties.
Got him. Luke finishes it off. And the Blue Jays snap their losing streak with a 7-2 win. Good starting pitching, some power, moves some runners, good bullpen work. Nice team victory today.
Well, Jay Happ with 7 strong innings, but let's not forget about the fine play in right field in the first inning by Randall Grichuk, who took a little dive and could have been a hit, turned it into a double play, and that ended the first inning. Who knows what happens if he doesn't make that play.
Blue Jays heading out on the road, starting with 3 at Minnesota tomorrow night. For now, let's send you back to Blue Jays Central again, along with Kevin Barker. Here's Jamie Campbell.